Hi guys, good afternoon. So welcome to this session and I hope you guys are okay there. Kindly grab some lunch siguro. Ay, merienda, water if you have kasi this Zoom meeting will be a lengthy one. Baka will consume 2 hours. Okay? O, ano lang yon pang gising sa atin para lang malaman ninyo na we can actually have until 5:30 for this Zoom meeting kasi we'll cover 2 modules. And for those classmates of yours na hindi pa nag-enter ng Zoom, pakisabi naman sa kanila to enter na so we could start. Okay, so unlike your first session na I requested you to open your cameras for this session, wag muna. Sige, kahit nakahiga kayo dyan. Basta make sure that you guys are listening ha. I expected that you enter this Zoom meeting for you to listen and further understand the topics. Kung tutulugan nyo lang din ako, wag na kayo mag-Zoom. Just watch the recording kasi I'm going to record, I already starting to record it right now. Kaya I discourage those who are sleeping to join the Zoom meeting. Better yet, if you are wide awake, dun nyo na lang panoorin yung ating Zoom recording. Dava. Okay? Yan. While waiting for the others to enter the Zoom meeting, please type in your complete name on our chat box. I will just use that one as a reference for your attendance this session. Sige. Okay. Ayan. Sige, type lang ng type ng name sa ating chat box. We are 26 on the room, therefore 25 students are present this afternoon. Wow, still good number. Okay. All right, so before we provide more examples on the concepts that Module 4 and Module 5 had, we tried to review. But I hope you were able to view na the lecture videos that was posted. Kasi I won't really, repeat it once again. Baka umabot na tayo ng 4 hours. Kuulitin ko na naman. Yan ha. So I hope na view ninyo last meeting. Kaya hindi ko kayo minute last meeting. Okay? So let's just start first, of course, with our definition. Yan. But for those who would like to open their cameras, you are free to open. Join me. Join me virtually. Yan. So we have here the word statistics. Mentioned doon sa ating PowerPoint that it is not like the definition that we know. When we say statistics, you already know that it's about graph, data, okay, research, and so on. It is actually used before under the government. It's more on politics. Okay, so they try to have a census on their land. Pwede. They can also have they also try to have census on, wait, mag-notate na lang tayo. So it's more like, it's actually more of their government. Okay? So their ruler, yan, most often than not, try to conduct census to know whether or not the military power of a certain government is strong, and of course, their taxation. Okay. Those are just example. Like for example, I am the ruler of Japan and then I want to invade Philippines. Now, I'm going to send people who's going to gather data kung gaano kalakas yung military power nila, kung okay ba yung economy nila, baka naman mas malakas kaysa sa akin. So that's the role basically of statistics. Later on this year, 1980s, parang mas finormalize, broaden. So it's most likely you're going to collect data, summarize it, analyze it, okay? And then you come up with a certain inference, okay? When we say infer, you infer something like coming from those set of data, ano yung pwede mo conclude? Like for example, yung kanina, I conclude that, oh, I cannot really overtake Philippines. Mas mataas pala yung kanilang, or mas malakas pala ang kanilang military power kesa sa akin. Okay? So, yon. Next, moving forward, we have your 10 famous mathematicians here. Okay? And this is our, source. Yan. You can also search that one. But, sige, let's try to enumerate some of their contributions. Okay? So we have here this person, Gauss. Yan. For those who are under STEM, di ba, meron tayong Gaussian elimination, mga ganun sa matrix. So most likely, this is a prominent mathematician. But of course, he also has contribution when it comes to statistics, which is your probability theory. So if you can recall, this particular drawing, baka nga nag-draw pa kayo ng card na ganyan kasi laging may ganyan sa stat ninyo dati, wherein you're going to plot your z values, di ba? And then find for the probability that it will land on the score, mga ganun pa kayo that time, di ba? So that's one of the contributions of this person. And also, he is the founder of modern nursing. This person also. Very very flexible na tao. Hindi lang siya more on mathematics. And next, we also have this person, Florence Nightingale, which is more on statistical graphics. Yan. So, yung mga nakikita-kita natin, okay, ang hirap magsulat sa ano. Okay, I'll try my best. So, we have here statistical graphics. This person, K.P. Carl Person, is the father of modern statistics. Ma'am, kasama ba to sa exam? Do we need to memorize this? No. Okay, I do not give examinations that are WH questions. And then we also have William Seeley Gossett. This is just for your additional inputs. So for this person, if you had used this type of test before when you were in your senior high school, we have your t-test, di ba? We have your t-test for independent samples or two dependent samples, mga ganon. And then the second famous also, one of the most famous statistician, we have Ronald A. Fisher. We have here the margin of error or the precision, which is 5%. Yan. So most likely margin of error, 10%, 1% margin of error came from this particular person. And of course, this is statistical tool, which is ANOVA. So most likely, if you want to know or if you want to establish that your data is homogeneous at the start of your study, you use ANOVA, di ba? Also, experimental designs. Yeah. Experimental designs also came from this particular person. Okay. And then we also have here this person, Edwards Deming. It's more on quality control. Yeah. Siyempre, we are under sets of data, and then if we're going to compute it, we're going to have an inference. Therefore, we really need quality control. And of course, COCS, which is more on the advancement of computers. Itong tao na to. Okay? We have this person, John Tukey. He coined the words bit, yan, which is a binary digit on your computers, di ba? We have your bits. We also have the word software for him. Ayan. And Tukey also is the one who proposed box plot. Yan. Siguro na pag-aralan nyo din to under measures of relative position. Okay? And then we have here George Box Cox. Okay. So siya ang nag-ano ng Box Cox wherein your non-normal, ang hirap mag-type, di ba? Non-normal variables will turn into normal variables. Okay? So, meron din tayong tinatawag na mga non-normal variables, tapos meron din tayong tinatawag na normal variables. So, this is under box plot. And of course, this person, Janet, or girl. Girl naman ngayon, panay lalaki, di ba? So, ngayon, girl, so we have here your CPI, or in terms of economy, we have your consumer price index. So consumer price index, so most likely they took the average of all of the things that we consume each day. So we have your food, transportation, clothing allowance kung meron ka man, 'di ba? Araw-araw ka siguro nagpapalit ng damit and so on. So those are some of the contributions of those 10 famous mathematicians. And why not later on maging isa rin kayo doon. That hindi nyo pala calling ang nursing, magiging statistician pala kayo. O di push natin yan. Okay? But of course, since I know that you are involved under the College of Nursing, you really want to become a nurse or become a part of the medical field later. So I will now erase the writings, ha? In 3, 2, 1, we move on to the next concept. Okay, so statistics, we have here science. Ayan, so basically, science is the body of knowledge, just like you taking up nursing. Okay, Bachelor of Science. Kasi nga, you're taking a body of knowledge. Like me, for example, BS Mathematics. Yan. Or MA Mathematics. Ganon. So we have here this particular study or experiment, how to collect, yan, model or analyze for the purpose of decision making. That's why probably you had your hypothesis testing before, that you are to reject or accept your null hypothesis. Dati, di ba? Kung maaalala nyo yun sa inyong senior high school. And also, we have here the science of learning from data. What can we learn from a certain data? So kunyari, lahat ng ex mo letter R ang first name. Tapos may na-meet kang guy na letter R ang first name. Ano kayang mai-inform mo coming from your data, previous data? So, first boyfriend mo, R, niloko ka. Second boyfriend mo, R pa rin ang kanyang pangalan. Yun pala, may asawa na. Third na, R din, niloko ka ulit. Tapos here comes Rene. Rene is his name. So, what can you infer? So, coming from your data, what have you learned from that? So, parang in layman's term, ganon ang statistics. Okay? And we also have here the processes, of course, which were discussed on the lecture video. Siyempre, hindi na natin ulitin yan. Yan ha? Some basic concepts under your statistics, we have your population and of course your sample. So basically, pag nag-study kayo mag-study kayo later on your research, we have your population, which is the entire number of people that you want to study. So for example, this is your population, okay? And then your sample is a subset. Yan. So basically, kung subject siya, he's a part. Yan, part siya ng population. This is your sample. Okay, that you took out from the population. And most often than not, we use samples in studying. Kasi sometimes, hindi natin mapag-aralan yung buong population. So, kunyari, your research is about the let's say, number of medical health workers. Di ba sobrang dami? So kung hindi mo kayang ma-survey yung number ng medical health workers, you'll just take out samples coming from that. And then later on, from those samples, you will conclude that, kaya yun yung gamit ng inferential statistics. Coming from the samples, you do your quantitative computations, and then you infer something coming from those. Okay. Next one we have here. Okay, majority na na din yan, na-discuss na din, and of course, sampling. And new concepts, we have parameter and then statistic. So when we say parameter, the number describes the whole population. Statistic, it came from a sample. Okay, so here are some of our parameters and statistics. So kunyari, you are conducting a research and then you computed the mean population. Mean population, ibig sabihin nun, yung population ang in-study mo. Tapos, kumuha ka ng average. Therefore, your parameter is your population mean, which is represented by this. Ayun yung ma-highlight. This one, this symbol, mu. Mu ang tawag dyan. So, this symbol mu here is your population mean kasi your data came from a population. What if you just studied a sample, tapos you took out the mean? Therefore, this is your representation. X bar or your mean sample, sample mean, sorry. Next one, we have here your variance. So if you studied a population and then computed something, kunwari variance yan, ito yung representation niya. Sigma squared. Sigma squared. Kapag sample variance yan, S raised to 2. Okay? Kapag covariance and variance, parang the same siya ng concept. It's just that this is it pertains to two variables. Kaya siya may x tsaka y kasi two variables yan. Parang sa correlation, may independent, may dependent. Okay? And kapag galing siya sa sample, yan yung representation niya, SXY. Coefficient of variation, meron yan sa module pero we'll give more example. Hindi siya na-lecture sa ating video, that's why we will provide more example. So CV, yan, capital CV, pag it came to population, small CV kapag it came from a sample. Tapos ito, correlation coefficient, which is the last topic for this module. We have here raw, and then your R symbol here, R, kapag sample. Ito coming from the population, this one coming from your sample. Ganon. So, kung nag-study ka ng sample, mag-focus ka dito kung i-represent mo siya. Okay? So, dapat consistent din yung iyong representations kung galing yan sa sample yung study mo. So, kung galing naman sa population yung study mo, kung meron kang resources, malay natin, konti lang yung population, di ba? At kaya mong na-survey lahat. You use these particular symbolisms. Okay? Or parameters. Ayan. Here ulit natin ang drawings. And of course, we have here your two types of statistics. We have your descriptive and then inferential. Okay, this will be a part of your quiz. So descriptive, if you are just going to describe either the population or the sample that you had studied. Inferential research or statistics, coming from the term infer. So nag-study ka ng sample, tapos mag-i-infer ka coming from that. Okay, let's provide examples. Kunyari dito sa descriptive statistics, you had studied your whole class population. Kunyari, whole class population ang in-study mo. And then you found out that majority of you, okay, let's say 60% of your class loves, let's say, money heist. Kasi syempre, yun yung trending ngayon. Loves watching money heist. Tapos, kunyari, let's say, 20% loves, ano bang mga gusto nyo? K-drama. Hindi ko alam. Okay, so kunyari ganyan. So, meron kang conclusion. Okay? Conclusion which describes the whole population. What population? Your whole class population. So that's descriptive. You're just describing it, what you have studied. Ma'am, paano kapag nag-study lang ako ng sample? And then now your conclusion only applies to that particular sample. Therefore, descriptive pa rin siya. Hindi ka nag-i-infer na, I therefore conclude, kunyari ito, i-compare natin dito sa inferential statistics. Kunyari, yung sabi ko nga, sa inyong class population, you only took out, let's say, 30 persons from your population, which is, let's say, 40. This is your population. Okay? Tapos you just studied 30 persons. And then, later on, you concluded that, okay, the class prefers watching money heist. That is inferential statistics. Kasi you did not study the whole population, but you inferred something about the population. Okay? Another example under inferential statistics is yung mga SWS surveys na nilalabas nila lagi. That sinasabi nila na, like for example, 70% will still vote for President Rodrigo Duterte on the incoming elections. Pero ang ini-study lang nila are just samples. Like for example, 10 people coming from National Capital Region, 5 people coming from NCR, 2 people coming from Region 1. Tapos, yun na yung ini-study nila. Tapos, they come up with an inference which is that, like 70% would still vote for President Rodrigo Duterte. Okay? That's just an example of your inferential statistics. Basta isipin nyo ha, sa inferential, they are just having or providing inference towards a population. Pero ang in-study lang nila is samples. Alright? Next concept. We have here your variables. Okay, when we say variables, these are just any characteristic that you want to study. So, kunyari, gusto mo yung mga, yung crush mo. Okay? Saan kaya napunta yung mga crush ko? Tingnan natin, baka nagkalat sila sa region 1, region 2, region 3. Yung iba nasa abroad and so on. So, ikaw, kung trip mo, di push. Okay? So, anything that you want to study is under your variables. That's why it's classified as quali or quanti. Qualities, yan, sa qualitative. Quantity, dun sa quantitative. Diba? So, basta pa yung pag may number, numerical values, quantitative. Qualitative, your, just pure descriptions or characteristics. Next, we have your types of quantitative variables. Guys, quantitative variables. So, we have discrete and then continuous. Ang isipin nyo lang dito sa discrete versus continuous is that, pag discrete, it's always exact. Unlike your continuous, kasi nga continuous, hindi daw siya exact, not exact. Okay? Guys, we're dealing with quantitative variables here. Okay, example of your discrete variables. Number of children in the family, of course. Ma'am, masikugmot di mamang ko, di 4.5 kami. Hindi. Siyempre, exact pa rin, di ba? Meron siya or wala siya. Ganun yun. Okay? And then, number of students in the classroom. O, ilan kayo ngayon sa Zoom? Tingnan natin. Hindi ko makita. O, 33 minus 1, 32 kayo. So, exact, discrete siya. Okay. Contrary, we have your continuous variable. To temperature, it's not exact. May decimal value. Hindi naman laging 10 degrees Celsius, di ba? Kaya 23 degrees Celsius. Malamig na yung 10. Okay? Height, hindi naman laging flat na 6 feet. Sana all. Okay? Meron yan, meron siyang decimal value, weight, length, time, speed, and so on. Okay, so those are your types of quantitative variables. Next. Yapay. Bibilisan natin kasi marami tayong agenda. Okay, we have your levels of measurement. Yan, NOIR. So under your qualitative variables, guys, it can only be classified into two. We have your nominal or ordinal. So kung qualitative, kung characteristics yan, dalawa lang ang pagpipilian. Huwag nang mamili sa iba. Kung may jowa na, yun na yung tigtignan. Yun, di ba? Okay, we have your nominal and ordinal. Kapag qualities, tapos wala siyang ranking, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-rank, guys. Hindi tayo pwedeng maging dito, okay? Maging judgmental. Yan, kunyari gender. Walang ranking yan. Hindi mas mataas ang ranking ng lalaki sa babae. I mean, female sa male. Okay? And other genders, of course, we include the LGBTQ community. And of course, color, dahil favorite color mo ang blue, mas mataas ang blue sa lahat. Hindi. Wala pa rin yung ranking. Okay? We move on to your ordinal. Okay, grade. Here. Ma'am, grade, di ba may numerical value? But stated here that it is descriptive. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D. So kung makikita natin, this can be ordered, obviously, di ba? Most likely, A is always outstanding, B is very good, C is excellent, ay hindi pala, moderate, or average, and then D is needs for improvement, mga ganun. Judging, kaya nga, first runner-up goes to second runner-up kasi there's a certain ranking. Rating scale, excellent, good, bad. How was your experience on your first date? Was it excellent? No, so-so. May ranking pa rin yun. Okay? Ranking of sports players, yan. Meron kasing best players, 'di ba? Kasi merong sa professional sports, 'di ba? Merong mga ranking yung mga yan. So we can see that they're still ranked. Okay. We move on to next concepts tayo, guys. Of course, pag quantitative yung variable mo, ang isipin mo lang dalawa ulit. Wag na mag-isip ng nominal at ordinal. Ito lang, interval at ratio lang. So, I and R. So, ang iisipin mo under interval, No meaningful zero. Ano bang meaning ng no meaningful zero? Wala daw meaning ang zero. For example, you did not attend to my classes. Hindi, nag-attend naman kayo. So, you did not attend to my classes and then you only got 5 out of 80, for example, on the exam. What will appear on your grade? Is it 0? On your final grade. Hindi naman kasi. This one has no meaning. Therefore, it's transmuted to the lowest grade of the university, which is 70. O kaya UD, transmuted. O kaya NFE, or INC ba or NFE? I'm not sure. Ang lumalabas. Yan. Okay? So, ganun. No meaning yung zero. Transmuted siya. Like, for example, your IQ. Pwede mo bang sabihin zero IQ ka? Pwede namang sabihin zero IQ, pero ibig sabihin nun, you are below average. Okay? It's transmuted to something, yung meaning niya. Alright? And then, one thing that you need to memorize under interval, it always has a negative value. May negative value yan lagi. Okay? Just like this, temperature. Okay? -2 degrees Celsius. Sana all. Yan. So, basta pag may negative value, tapos transmuted, walang meaning yung zero, it is interval. Okay? How about if it's ratio? So, 0 is absolute. There is a certain value na 0. Kat 0 garod, ilan ang naging boyfriend mo? 0. 0 garod, wala tayong magagawa. 0 talaga. Yan na, may meaning na siya. Okay? So, kunyari salary, ilan ang naiwan sa sahod mo? Wala. Wala nga rod, wala tayong magagawa. Okay? Age. Age also is under ratio kasi nga, we have your 0 months old. Yung kapapanganak, as in kalalabas lang. Wala naman talaga yung age. Yan. And please take note that your ratio variables are always positive. Okay? So for example, yung age, yan. How old are you? -5. Wala namang ganun, di ba? So, how was your salary? -6. Pero, I mean, you can say that one kasi baka mas malaki yung utang mo kaysa dun sa nakuha mo. But technically, wala namang salary na papasok sa'yo na negative. Okay? Meron lang siguro yung mga debit, deficit, mga ganon. Alright. Sana clear na ang levels of measurement. So, aside from descriptive and inferential, NOIR, or your levels of measurement, will also be included on your quiz or assessment tomorrow. And then we also have your sample size determination. Ma'am, why do we need to study this part? Kasi nga sabi ko on your research, hindi naman, you cannot really study the whole population. That's why you need to determine your least sample size or your acceptable sample size. Okay? And then we have here 3. Yung na-discuss lang sa video is 1, which is this one, Yamane, or commonly known as your Slovets. Okay? Erase ko muna yung drawings. Yan. So we have 3. We start off with your total enumeration. Okay? So for your total enumeration, just get 95% of the population. Kunin mo lang, as in 95%, that's it. So total enumeration is most likely used when your population is considerably small. Ma'am, how small is small? Basta kaya mong ma-study. So it's still under your total enumeration. Next, we have here your Yamanis formula, mistakenly named after Slovene. So, yan. Popularly known as the Slovene formula, pero ang totoo, mga agaw lang pala si Charot. Mistakenly daw. Mistakenly named after him. Okay? Pero ang totoong founder or discover nito is Yamane. Okay? So in here, we have a certain margin of error. Yan. So itong margin of error na to is by Fisher. Yung kanina yung pinakita kong tao, si Fisher. Yun, siya yung nag-ano niyan, 0.5 margin of error. So there is a certain population, which is N. Yung big is your population size. Yung small letter n is your small size. Your E is your margin of error. So for example, you want to take out a sample from a population of 48 persons and there is a margin of error of 5%. Of course, you need to convert that. Wag nyo ilagay na 5 na lang ha. 0.05. Pwede nyo lang ng sangagasot. Tapos erase nyo ng 2. Okay? If you try to do this on your own, you should get 42.86. Guys, we're talking about sample size. 0.86 is still a person. Always round up. Any decimal value, always round up, regardless if it's 5 or 4. round up. All right. And then we also have here your Cochran's formula. Cochran's formula, which is this. Most likely, technically kung i-search ninyo yung inyong maring Google, hindi talaga ito yung formula. This is just the simplified for lower sample size. Kasi ang Cochran is used for large samples or mean populations. Okay? And this is the formula if your margin of error is 5%. Ma'am, bakit 5% lagi? Kasi that's the most commonly used for researches. Ang inyong margin of error should only range from 1% to 10%. So, ang margin of error is always 1% to 10%. Pag 1%, 1% na margin of error, you are 99% confident that your research is correct. Pag 10%, which is yung pinakamababa, you are 90% confident that it is correct. So, yung nasa gitna, yun yung pinaka-common na ginagamit, which is 5%. Okay? Iilan lang yung mga gumagamit ng margin of error, which is 1%, most likely in the field of science, kasi they are thoroughly experimenting on things. Okay? Pero sometimes the duration would still vary. Yan. And we will provide more examples on your sample size later on, determination of your sample size. Papakita ko lang. So this is the formula. 384.16 is the numerator. Denominator, tong buong ito. And then just subtract 1. Yan, coming from your numerator, that's 384.16. And of course, your n is your population size. So on this example, what would be the population that could be took out from the sample which could be took out from a population of 48? It is 43. Right? Let's have more. Share screen natin. Yung PowerPoint ko. Ay, andun. Okay. Not responding. Ay. Okay, saglit lang ha. Oh, yan. I hope you were able to view my presentation. Okay, so we're done with the basic statistical concepts. So for this part, we will mainly focus on computations na tayo. Okay, so bring out your calculators with you, and then of course your pen and piece of paper if you have. Kasi kapag nag-i-imagine lang kayo, talagang mahirap. Kailangan natin gawin natin para masaya ang life. Okay, so we start off, nagbabuff siya. Start off with the application of your basic concepts. Bago pala yung computation. This part of the module is actually posted, di ba? Pero mag-i-expire siya until kaninang 3:30 kasi I just want to check kung sino talaga yung gustong matuto kanina. And I am thankful for those who were able to share their answers on our discussion room. Okay? So let's try to apply kung talagang naintindihan natin yung ating kanina. Wait nga. Ayan. Yung ating na-lecture kanina about your levels of measurement. Okay? Ayan yung mag-annotate. Alright. So all we have to do is determine your level of measurement and just write the letter. Okay. So legend natin, N for nominal, O for ordinal, I for interval, and R for ratio. So naka-highlight na dyan ng ating mga key terms or keywords for us to answer. The school nurse records the height of each students. So height, yan. This is your quality. And then this is quantity. Okay. So height is under your quantitative variables. Tama? Pagpipilian mo lang kung interval siya at ratio. At sinabi nating interval if meron siyang negative value, ratio kapag positive siya. So ang height, is it interval or ratio? So it is ratio. Yan. Next one, eye color. Eye color, is it quality or quantity? So, quality siya kasi we have brown, black, green, okay? And is it nominal or ordinal? Mas mataas ba yung color green doon sa color black? Siyempre hindi. Wala tayong discrimination nga, di ba? So basically, wala siyang ranking. Therefore, this is just nominal. O, bawal judgmental ngayon. Okay? And of course, temperatures in degrees Celsius. Temperatures, this is quantity. And is it interval or ratio? Di ba meron tayo in degrees Celsius? Pwedeng negative, 10 degrees Celsius, pwede. Therefore, this one is interval. Okay? So for the rest, ayan ha, from numbers 4 to 10, please share your answers on our chat box. Just write N, O, I, and R on our chat box. I'll give you 1 minute to answer, please. While you are typing in your answers, let me scroll the chat box. May mga ano kasi. Meeting code and ID passcode. Wala akong binigay na passcode doon sa Zoom. Just click on the link doon sa ating announcement tab. Click nyo lang. Wala ding waiting room. Basta join lang kung join. Ano pa? Tingin ng ibang messages. Miss Gio Christian. Ay, Ma'am Gio Christian won't be able to attend due to high fever po. Okay, noted, Aaron. Just tell Gio to get well soon. And just watch the recording siguro kung okay na siya. Due to high fever din. Ala, mag-ingat kayo. Pinagsasakit talaga for months. Sophia, 4 only? No answer? What else? Okay. 4R. Okay lang yun. Okay, sige. Sagutan na natin ha. Para marami tayong masagutan kasi matagal ang Zoom meeting natin ngayon. Start tayo sa age. Ang age, numerical value yan. So, pasok agad tayo dito. Interval or ratio, wala namang negative na age. So, ratio siya. Place of origin. Place. Quality yan. Di ba? It's a characteristic name ng place. Therefore, this is just nominal. Kasi wala namang niyang order. Okay? Nominal. Hindi naman mas mataas. Wala namang ranking yan. Okay? And of course, the specialty. This one is still nominal. Guys, mas mataas ba ang surgical doctor kesa dun sa anesthesiologist or pediatrician? So basically, wala naman talaga silang technically ranking, di ba? Na maano natin. And then next, we have here your patients who were grouped according to the type of surgery. Meron tayong type ng surgery, merong major tsaka minor, pero wala siyang ranking. Hindi naman sinabing mas mataas. Binuksan ako mula dito, mula sa leeg hanggang dito sa pusod. Kaya mas mataas yung surgery ko kaysa sa'yo. Ay, mas angat ako kaysa sa'yo. Ikaw ano ka lang, yung hinlalaki lang ng paa mo ang na-surgery. Wala namang ganon, di ba? Walang discrimination. So, this still, of course, nominal. And breast cancer rates, yan, wala namang negative 10%, di ba? Okay, so this one is ratio. Hours spending, of course, wala ding negative value na hours, di ba? So we have ratio. Ang hirap magsulat. And then we have here, level of difficulty. Oh, nakasulat na dyan, difficult, average, and easy. Therefore, it is ordinal. Okay? So what's the level of difficulty ng lesson natin ngayon so far? Baka average pa lang sa inyo or sa iba easy. Okay? So thank you for sharing your answers. And I see naman that most of you were able to get it correctly. So that is also a part of your quiz tomorrow. Okay? Identifying levels of measurement. So you may take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, code. And then I'll clear now the drawings. We move on to the next part. Doon na tayo. Ito na. More examples, sample size determination, which was also posted on your module. So for those who were able to answer it. Yan. Thank you ha sa pag-share ng inyong answers. Note, in computation of your sample size, always round up. Always any decimal value round up. Take note of that. Okay? So we're talking about population dito ha. Alright, total enumeration, yan, at least 95%. At least. So that is the least number of sample size that you can get. So yung example kanina, and then now let's have more examples. Okay, using total enumeration, what is the considerable sample size that you can take out from a population of 80? Oh, so coming from our equation a while ago, just take at least 95%. So kunin daw natin yung 95% ng 80. So 0.95 times 80 ay 0.95 times 80. 0.95 times 120. And lastly, 0.95 times 220. Please share your answers on our chat box for letters A, B, and then C. Okay, go. Nakasalalay ang pangkubuhayan showcase at ang nakakuha. Januel, Sophia, Elaine, Januel ulit. Oh, very good ah. You were able to solve it? Okay, so, syempre, use the technology. Just use your calculators there. And then, round up. Round up tayo ha. So, that's 114. And then, 209. Okay? So, those are your answers for your total enumeration. And all of you were able to get it. Very good. Now, let's move on. Clear ko na to the next. Ay. Okay, so Yamani's formula was founded pala 1967. Oh, mas matagal pa siya sa existence natin, di ba? Okay, and this is our formula. Yan. So let's proceed in solving more examples. Okay, tell. So a researcher wants to know the degree of satisfaction with the use of Canvas by the students in the University of the Cordilleras. However, due to lack of resources, you won't be able to survey the whole student population. Kaya nag-decide siya na just study or conduct a study on the samples. What would be the acceptable or least sample size that must be taken for this population, which is 7,500, and your margin of errors are A, B, and then C respectively. Okay? Let's use the formula. Yan. Using your Yamanis formula, since there is a certain margin of error that was stated, all we have to do is to use this formula. All right. So, N, your sample size. What is your N? Big letter N is 7,500. This is for letter A. Plus 1 plus 7,500 times E. What is your E? Is your margin of error. And in here, it's 5%. 0.05 raised to 2. Square it, ah. Square this one, not the whole. Square this one only. Okay. You may use your calculators and then do it for the rest of the items here also. Oh, dito naman, what's the answer? And on number 8, what's the answer? Just change the margin of error to 3%. Just change the margin of error to 8%. I will wait for your answers. On the chat box, of course. Wow. 8%. Bakit magkaiba kayo sa 8? Check ko nga yung 8%. 7.5 over 1 plus 7.5 over 0. Ay, sorry. Mm. Ayan. So we have here 380. Wala namang argument dyan, 380. The second one, if you apply that using that same formula, just use 0.03 as your margin of error, you should get 968. Okay? And then your n here is should be 154. Any decimal value, di ba yung nakuha ninyo is 153.06. 0.06 is still a person. Just round it up. Any decimal value, dito lang ha sa sample size determination. Okay? So on your quiz later on, be careful. Round up lahat. Round up. Okay? Sige, let's clear all of the drawings. Thank you guys for always sharing your answers. You're so nice. Okay? Clear ko na yung drawings. Pagod na daw yung PowerPoint ko. 1977, your population size, okay? If it's under margin of error of 5%, this is your formula. 38.62. Applying the Cochrane's formula, what is the acceptable size that could be taken out from this particular population? Sulat natin yung formula for those. N is equal to 384.16 all over 1 plus 383.16 all over n. Ayan. So all you have to do is to change this one to the certain population stated here. Okay? Please give me what would be the answers. What are the sample sizes which could be taken out from 300, 110, and 550 using Cochrane's formula. Ay, ang bibilis nila. So we have here 169. You should get 169, 86, 169, 86, and of course 226. Okay? So, ma'am, coming from the 3, we have total enumeration, we have your Yamanes, and we also have your Cochrane. Alin dito ang pinaka-best? Of course, this will be the first. Mag-ranking tayo. This is your second, and this will be your third. So consider using Cochrane's sample size determination formula later on your study. If in case that you will use, or you will utilize, of course, quantitative research. Kahit hindi quantitative, kahit qualitative. Actually, kailangan nyo pa rin ng sample size determination. Hindi yan pwede na pag tinanong kayo ng panel later on, bakit 50 yung respondents mo? Ma'am, kasi gusto ko. Ma'am, kasi my favorite number is 50. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Dapat may basis. Okay? So, with that, we move on to our next topic. We're done with module 4. So the coverage of your assessment, which is tomorrow for your module 4, is determining whether or not it's descriptive or inferential statistics. Number 2 would be more on NOIR, nominal ordinal interval ratio. And then third topic is on Yamane, total enumeration, and Cook-Rad formula. Yun. That's the coverage. Dali lang siya. Kaya nyo yun. Okay? And then we move on to your fifth module. We have your data analysis, data statistics for your ungrouped data. And we start off with your measure of central tendency. The very common, and I know that you already know this ones. Okay, so we have here your population mean if your data came from a population, diba? Yung pinakita ko kanina, which is mu. This is the formula, and then if it's sample mean, so basic, anyari, naging ano na siya. Naging Fibonacci. Okay, so mean is just your average. And your mean can be classified as your arithmetic. Yeah. So arithmetic, this is just your basic getting average, and then your weighted. So we will discuss the two later. Ito muna, arithmetic mean. Pag arithmetic, just same weights ng mga scores yan. So given the set of observations, we have the following. Compute for the mean. Summation of x, wag kayong ma-overwhelm dyan. Summation of x, these are individual values. So all we have to do is to add them. So 12 plus 13 plus 7 plus 11 plus 5 all over your n. N is your sample size. Ilan ba yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. What's the answer? Pa-type sa ating chat box. Sige na. Pa-type. What would be our sample mean? Let me see. Ayaw mag-click. 9.6. Okay, so that's the answer, 9.6. Diba? Very easy. Or 9.60. Any will do. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Pero ayaw mag-move on ng PowerPoint. Meron na. Okay, example 2. And example 3. Gawin nyo yan. Dali lang naman. So, find for the average or arithmetic mean of number 2 and then number 3. Type it in on our chat box. Guys, this is comma, chameleon. Chameleon. Dapat may music pag nag-Zoom class tayo. Number 2 and number 3. 2 decimal values. Kapag may maraming decimal values kayo dyan. Dalawa lang, okay lang yun. Wow, bibilis nila. Let me see. 45.6. Ano yan? Number 2, 45.6. Number 3, Garod. Ano ang ating number 3? Dapat kayo mag-type sa number 3, di ba? Daming decimal. Pero kaya nyo yan. $45.6, sulat ko na ha. So, according to your classmates and according to your solutions, you should get 45.6 here, 45.60. And on the second, pare-parehas naman kayo ng sagot. So, it's 24.59. Hindi ko na i-double check. Kaya nyo na yan. Malalaki na kayo. Alright. So, that's it for your arithmetic mean. O, diba? Dali-dali lang. Sa ngayon. Sarap. Yan. Yan. Okay. Thank you so much for your answers. I-clear ko ng ating drawings. Move na tayo sa next slide. Try this. Kaya nyo na yan. Screenshot nyo na lang. Tapos kunin nyo na lang yung mean. Okay? So, find for the mean of the blood cholesterol level. Mataas ba yan or mababa? Ano bang normal na cholesterol level? Not sure. Maybe you know. Bibilis nila. So, we have 228.75. Is it normal? Who knows what's the normal cholesterol level? may share it on our chat box also. Okay, so you should get 228.75 here. Yeah, very nice. Next tayo. So we have here your, bakit sa measure of set, ano na, saglit, hanapin natin yung median. Ito tayo. Weighted mean. Kasi under pa rin siya ng what? Ng central tendency under mean. So kanina arithmetic mean, we have here your weighted mean. Pag weighted mean, magkakaiba yung weights niya ng individual scores. So kunyari, this one your grade, pero mas mataas na may mas mabigat na weight na individual score kesa dun sa isa. Okay? So, kunyari dito, yung research niya is mas mabigat compared sa PE subject. Diba 2 units lang naman ng PE. Okay? So, you use your weighted mean pag magkakaiba sila ng weights or bigat or halaga. Mas bigat ang halaga mo kaysa dun sa isa. Kunyari ganun. Okay? And then, we use this formula. Summation of W, which is your weight. So, dito sa ating problema sa buhay, alin ba dyan ang varying? So, that's your weight, yung varying. And then this one, your grade, which is your X value. All you have to do is to get your, just get the summation of your W times X, and then that's your numerator. Ayan. Get the summation, and of course, the summation of your W. Okay? Gawin nyo nga. Summation of tag-iisa daw. So, 88 times 3, we have 264. Ang hirap magsulat. Kaya nyo na yan, di ba? Kung kaya nyo ng share nyo na yung sagot nyo dyan. Next, we have 85 times 3, 225, 255. Yan na naman ako eh. Tapos, 95 times 2, 190. Actually, pwede itong dalat sa calcu, pero for the sake of showing, 360, 360. Tapos kunin natin yung summation ng W times X. Ito. So, 264 plus 255 plus 190 plus 360 is 109669. And then your summation of ways, this is 6, 10, 12. So what's the answer? 1069 all over 12. Wow, taas naman ang kanyang weighted average. Sana all. So we have 89.08. Good job, guys. So you should get 89.08. Ganers. So that's your weighted average or weighted mean. Okay? Again, pag magkakaiba sila ng halaga, nakikita nyo naman kung magkakaiba ng halaga. Mararamdaman nyo. Okay? Clear ko ng ating drawings. And you try this one nga. Try this. Weighted mean tayo ha. Just type in your answers on our chat box. An economist studying trends in gasoline prices within the city takes a sample of 30 city gas stations. The results are given below. Yan, 54.60, isa, 55.64, tatlo. So, find for the average price of the gasoline price. Kaya, just share your answers on our chat box. Let's see. Ayan. Good job, guys. So you should get 57.23. Okay? So pag weighted mean, all we have to do is to take the weights or check if there are certain weights that differ on the given problem. Oh, you should get 57.23, ha? Under this. Sulat ko lang. For those who are not yet done solving. Okay? Clear ko ng ating drawings. Balik na tayo. So that's your mean. We move on to, or balik tayo sa ating next statistical tool under, okay. Next one, after your mean would be your median. All you have to do is to arrange your values from highest to lowest, lowest to highest, and locate the middlemost value. Ganun lang. Okay? So, number 1, arrange lang natin. Sige, kung kaya nyo na, lagay nyo na yung sagot nyo. Arrange lang natin from lowest to highest or highest to lowest, kayong bahala. Syempre, may 5 pala dun. 5, 7, 11, 12, 13. Okay? Tapos hanapin lang yung nasa gitna. Yan, 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 yan. So that's the median. Ganarms lang. Tapos dito, yan. So, gawin nyo yung number 2. What would be the median? So, arrange natin. Arrange natin, guys. 34, 37, 40, 41, what else? 43, 46, 48, 52, 55, and of course, 60. Ayan. So, ano yung nasa gitna? Dalawa yung nasa gitna. So, what will we do? Just take the average, divided by 2. Just take the average. So, 43 plus 46 divided by 2. You should get 44.5. This would be our median for this data set. 44.5. Okay? Ha? So, ganun lang naman kadali ang life. Good job, 44.5. Okay, clear ko na yung drawings. And then we move on to the next concept. Take a screenshot and then you might try that one on your own. 1, 2, 3. Next one, mode. Pinakapapansin sa ating data set. Highest frequency, ilang beses lumabas. Yun. And we have your types of mode, unimodal, pag isang beses lumabas. Isa yung mode, unimodal, bimodal, pag dalawa yung modes, trimodal, pag tatlo yung modes, and then multimodal, pag 4 and more. Okay? Example tayo, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's the mode of this given data set? Sige nga. No mode. Very good. Hindi no modal ha. So, no mode tayo. Kasi walang papansin. Lahat sila neutral. Okay? Next. Number 2. May number 2 ba? Ayun. Ito muna. Okay. So, yan. A scientist made 6 measurements on the ionization energy of helium in electron volts. Obtaining? Yan. Kapagalito, di ba? What's the mode? It is 24.56, right? Diba? Pati ako ano. So, 24.56 is the mode kasi dalawang beses siyang lumabas. Yan. Papansin siya. Twice siya nag-appear sa ating dataset. And what's the type of mode? Unimodal. Kasi iisa lang. Ha? Kahit na 2 beses lumabas, unimodal pa rin kasi our mode is 24.56. And it is unimodal. Alright. Next tayo. Okay. Last. What is the mode? Or what are the modes? The modes are? Good job. It's 143 and 148. And it is classified as bimodal. Kasi dalawa yung modes natin. Diba? Okay. Very good, guys. Move on tayo sa next. Just try that one. So the answer here is, we have 2, 3, and then 5. And it is classified as trimodal. Good job, guys. Good job. Alright. Wag na yan. Kaya nyo na yan. So, skip na natin to. And we move on to the second topic under Module 5. We have your measure of variability. Kaya nyo pa? Kaya nyo pa yan. Anong oras na ba? Time check tayo. 4:30. Isang oras pa. Okay, so variability shows the dispersion of your data set, diba? According to the video. Okay, so we have several types of measures sa ating variability. The most common would be your range, variance, correlation coefficient. Yan. And those are the ones that we're going to discuss. So very easy. We have here your range. All you have to do is to locate your highest value and then your lowest value. So for example, these are your data sets. We have 12, 13, 7, 11, and 5. Highest value mo is 13. And then your lowest value is 5. Okay. Hiram ka ng charger ka, Tita Denden. Ikan. May klase ako. Maya. Ako sige. Sorry for that. Okay? Kindly type your answer on our chat box. Diba 13 minus 5 lang naman?
8.
8. Good job. Kung kaya nyo, unmute latan. Okay? So in here, just take the difference of your highest to your lowest value, which is 8. Okay? Next one. Example tayo. Number 2. So the wait lang. Crash yung aking Zoom application. Okay. I hope you had your bio break already. So we continue with our lesson. Yeah. So a while ago, we were just talking about your your range, which is one of your measures of variability. Hindi masyadong nagagamit yun kasi nga it's very prone to extreme values. So kung may value ka na sobrang taas tapos sobrang baba, hindi talaga niya nakaka-capture yung variability ng isang dataset. Okay? So another example tayo. Yan. Para mas madali nating maintindihan. Okay, give a set of observations. We have 12, 3, 7, 11, and 5. Compute for the variance and the population standard deviation. So nakalagay dito sa ating problem that you need to utilize population standard deviation. This is specific formula here, the parameter. Okay, so what will you need on your formula is your summation of x raised to 2, which is this one. Just get the sum. That's your summation of x raised to 2. And then your summation of x, these are your x values, 12, 13, 7, 11, 15. Yan, ito, nilista lang natin. And of course, your n, your population size, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we fill out the missing parts of the table, just add 12 plus 13 plus 7 plus 11 plus 5. So you should get 48. Okay, sulat natin. So 48 is your summation of x. And then we have here 144 plus 169. So sa mga kaya nang i-substitute it sa ating formula, please do so. So 144 plus 169 plus, and then type in your answers on our chat box. 121 plus 25. So your summation of your x squared should be 508. Yan ha. So you should get 508 here. Yan. So gamitin natin or i-substitute natin sa ating formula. This is your summation of x squared. So we have here 508 minus here the ratio of your summation of x, which is 48, and then square it, and then your n, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5. And your divisor would be 5. Okay? Please compute it and then type your answer on our chat box. Oh, isa pa lang ang nag-share. 9.44. Ano kaya ang 9.44? Variance kaya yan or standard deviation? 48 squared. 508. Okay? So 9.44 is the correct answer. Good job, guys. And what is 9.44 again? Guys, coming from your equation or your symbolism here, this is your parameter. This is your population variance. The question is, what is your population standard deviation? Di ba ang sabi natin based from the video, this is just extract the square root of your variance and that will be your population standard deviation. So extract lang natin yan. So kung extract natin to, what would be the symbolism? Sigma lang siya. So your population standard deviation is the square root of 9.44, which is 3.07. 3.07, ha? Hindi siya 3.08. Hindi siya population size. This is your standard deviations na. So apply the rule of your rounding off. So 3.07. Sana clear 'yon. Okay? Again, tignan ninyo kung nakalagay dun sa equation or dun sa problem that you should get the population or the sample variation or your standard deviation. All right. So take a screenshot of that. We move on to the next one. Okay. So dito tayo naman. Yan. Nailagay na para mas madali. Pero manually ninyong gagawin yan, ha? So kung nagkamali kayo sa 41 squared, mali na lahat yun. Okay? We have here the selected cancer patients, weights in kilogram. And we need to compute for your sample variance and then your sample standard deviation. Nakalagay dyan, ha? Sample variance and then your sample standard deviation. All right. So we will utilize this equation for your sample variance. Yan. This is your statistic. And, sige. Ano natin? 56 plus. Okay. So you should get 302 as your summation of x. And your summation of x squared, 3136. 168,137, 21, 2401. Should get 15464. Okay. Substitute it on our formula. That's 15464 minus and the quantity 302 squared, and of course your n, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 patients, and yan, n minus 1, 6 minus 1 is 5. What would be our sample variance? Type it in on our chat box, please. Aaron got 43.89. No. Ayan. 52.67. Meron agad siyang change of heart. Okay? So you should get 52.67. That's your sample variance. How about your sample standard deviation? Take the square root. What's the answer? 7.26. Good job. So sample standard deviation. Okay? So that's how you will compute your variance and standard deviation using your raw score method. Okay? Take a screenshot and then we'll move to the next example. Yan. Dito na tayo sa next concept. Coefficient of variation. So if your data came from a population, you utilize this. If your data came from a sample, you utilize this statistic. Okay? Yan. Ano to ulit? This one is our population standard deviation. Standard deviation. On the other hand, this is your sample standard deviation. Guys, ha? And then this one is our population mean, di ba? This one is our sample mean. Paano ulit kukunin ng mean? Just take the average and then multiply it to 100. Okay, so dun sa ating example kanina, compute for the correlation coefficient of the first example kanina. Ano, backread tayo sa inyong chat. Okay, what's the population standard deviation? .07. So this is your population standard deviation, di ba? Kanina, yung sagot natin is 3.07. Tapos kanina, yung ating sample standard deviation is 7.26. Yung kinompute natin to kanina ha. Huwag niyong tanongin saan ko to kinukuha. Okay, now, dun sa ating given, sa number 1, we need your population mean. What's the mean value? All we have to do is to take the average. 12 plus 13 plus 7 plus 11 plus 5. 48 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our population mean is 9.6. Ganun lang. So paano natin i-compute yan? Yan. So all we have to do is to utilize the formula. So 3.07 all over your population mean, which is 9.6. Yan. Tapos times 100. Okay? So what would be the answer there? Tapos tignan natin dito. What is our mean here? Sample mean. Just take the mean scores. We have 56 plus 45 plus 41 plus 61 plus 49, 55, 45, 41, 61, 49 plus 50. Tapos divided by 6. Okay, so that's 50.33 dito sa baba. Ayan. So, check ko ang ating chat box. Isulat ko lang ha. So, dito, ang inyong sample correlation coefficient, coefficient of variation is 7.26 all over 50.33 times 100. Ayan. So, kapag tinanong yan sa exam, later on, dapat alam nyo kung paano i-solve ha. Okay? So, for your first question, you should get 31.98. And then for the second question, you should get 14.42. Ayan, ha? That's why it's very important that you should know if the data came from a population or a sample. Kasi magkaiba yung equation. Okay? Though same lang naman yung gagamitin na given, pero syempre, malay mo yung given pala is population variance. Sample variance yung nilagay mo. Yan, ha? Yan. So, thank you for sharing your answers. Take a screenshot. That would be the second to the last topic. And, kaya pa ba? We have the last one, your measure of correlation. So, we will just utilize one tool, which is your Pearson R product, Pearson R, or, yan, mahaba. In short, Pearson R. In long, Pearson Product Momentum Correlation Coefficient. Kasi meron din tayong Spearman Rho, which involves your ranking naman. Okay, so ito. Sa mga, sana pinanood nyo yung ating video. Huwag sanang maghang. Ayun. Okay, so we have here, yan, Pearson R. Sorry, wala siyang apostrophe. Pearson R. So kapag yung data may came from a population, you will use raw. Raw here. It's indirect, di ba? Kapag positive yung iyong correlation coefficient, it is direct. The relationship is direct. Pag indirect, pag tataas yung independent variable, bababa yung dependent variable. Okay? Pag direct, dito ko na nga lang isusulat. Pag tataas yung independent variable, bababa yung dependent variable. And vice versa. Pag bumaba yung independent variable, tataas siya. Dito naman sa ating direct relationship, pag tumaas yung independent variable, tataas yung dependent variable. Pag bumaba yung independent variable, bababa din yung dependent variable. Okay? Tapos yung mismong values will be ranging from 0.00 until 1 only. So pag nakakompute kayo later on sa inyong exam, sa inyong quiz na 2 point something, naku, may mali sa inyong pag-solve dito siguro. Okay. So, mag-ano na tayo. Mag-solve since we still have time. Yan. So aside from doon sa pinost ko sa inyong video na you need to work on the age and then the job performance, probably you can also include this. Okay? So a random sample of countries which was taken from WHO. Yan. Okay. So data shows the availability of your family planning. Availability of family planning over what particular variable? We have your total fertility rate. Okay? Since naka-percentage yung dalawang variables, or wag na, no need to convert this one. Wag nyo nang kunin yung decimal value. Kasi nga, magkaparehas naman sila naka-percentage. Okay? We need to compute for the correlation coefficient. Yan. And then we interpret the correlation coefficient. No need to do some conclusions. Okay. So with that, start. Yan. Siyempre, inano ko na yung table para mas madali sa atin. Okay, kinopy ko lang guys ha. So for example, I assigned this, the demand for family planning as X and my fertility rate as Y. Ma'am, pwede po bang pagbaliktarin ko sila? Pwede. Basta make sure that you're consistent with your values later. Okay? So syempre since Y yan, dapat summation of Y dito. Pag X mo ito, summation of X mo dito. Ganon. Okay, so all we need to do is to complete your table. X raised to 2 here. This is your X on my table. And then Y, this one. And then XY, just multiply the 2. How will you do that? Take the square of your X value. Ayan, 29.2 raised to 2. Ganon. Which is 852.64. Okay, annotate natin. 8 calculator 52.64. All right, ganon. So you do that on the next value 39.8 square, itong lalabas until you reach your 88.9 square. Ito siya. Doon naman sa y value natin 5.1, we need to take the square also of that. Sige, tingnan natin. 26.01. Yan. So, isulat natin 26.01. Tapos, kunin mo din yan. Lagay mo din doon. Ito din, 4.1. Square mo until you reach 2.7. Square mo siya. And then, where will you get your x times y? X times y, ilagay doon. So, 29.2. 29.2 times 5.1. So, what's your answer? 148.92. 148.92. Okay? So once you had done calculating all, take the summation. Sum. So add everything and then place it below. So dito 29.2 plus 39.8 plus 16.6 plus 48.3 plus 88.9, you should get 222.8. Oh, dapat 222.8. Yan ha. And then, dito, gawin mo din yan doon, gawin mo din yan doon. Dapat you should get 22.2, you should get this one. And of course, this part, ang gawin natin. 26.01 plus 34.81 plus 16.81 plus 19.36 plus 7.29. So, we should get 104.28. 104.28. Okay? Yan. Meron na tayo lahat ng values. So, gamitin natin yan sa ating formula. Based from the formula, the correlation coefficient daw would be determined by this. Summation of x, summation of y. And then we take the square root of the quantity n times summation of x squared minus summation of x raised to 2 and times n times summation of y squared minus summation of y raised to 2. Okay? Take the square root. Yan. The equation might be overwhelming for you, so we need to do it one step at a time. So what is our n? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Hindi siya 10 ha. This one is a paired data. This came from one sample, one tao. So we have here your n would be 5. And then your summation of xy is this. Yan. 904.35. Subtract it to the product of summation of x, which is, where's our summation? Oh, sorry. Summation of x lang yan. Sorry. So this is your summation of x, which is 222.8. And then, multiply it to summation of y, this one. Ito yung summation ng x squared, ha? Which is 22.2. Alright. So, we're settled with our numerator. Punta tayo sa ating denominator. So, this will be 5 times summation of x squared is this. 12948.34. And then you subtract it to summation of x, which is 222.8, and then square it. 0.8 squared. Sa kabila, we still have 5, and then your summation of y raised to 2, this is your y raised to 2, 104.28 minus summation of y, 22.2 squared. Okay? Yan. One step at a time. Alright, next tayo. We move on to your numerator. So, calculator, pwede nang diretsuhin yan. 5 times 904.35 minus 22.8 times 22.2. Okay? So, parentheses, 5 times 904.35 You may also share your answer on our chat box, 222.8 times 22.2. Tingnan natin kung parehas tayo ng nakuha. So you should get a negative value, 424.41. So yun yung numerator natin. So negative 424.41. Okay? And then we move on to our denominator. Ito muna yung isolve natin. Para din naman siyang sa numerator lang. Yan. So 5 times 12948.35 minus 222.8 squared. Yung square, ito ha, i-square ito, 222.8. Okay? So itry natin yan. Ating calculator. 5 times 12948.34 minus 222.8 squared. Okay? So you should get 1501. 1501.86. Huwag kayong mag-round off Huwag kayong mag-round off. Tapos next solve natin ito, this part of the equation. Okay? So we have 5 times 104.28 minus 22.2 squared. Okay? So you should get 28.56. 0.56. Ayan. So, pwede na natin siyang idiretso sa ating calculator. So, negative 424 over 41 times, divided by the square root of the product of the two. Okay? Please type in your answer on our chat box. Ano kaya yung nakuha ninyong correlation coefficient?
Mahina signal sa taas? Yan lang ang sabi ni Dipon.
Walang signal? Bumaba ka. 28.56. Ayan. Anong nakuha ninyo? Okay. Very nice. So we got the same answer. We get the same correlation coefficient, which is negative 0.65. Okay, 2 decimal value lang tayo, ha? Yan, good job everyone. Ganerms ang pag-solve ng ating correlation coefficient. Sige, take a screenshot, tapos balikan natin yung slide kanina. Take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I will clear now all of the drawings. Balikan natin, sagutan natin yung tanong kanina. So letter A, compute for the Pearson R moment correlation coefficient. So what would be your answer? Would be negative 0.65. So ito dapat yung isasagot ninyo sa exam later. Now, let's try to interpret. What would be the interpretation of this particular value? Okay? So tingnan natin yung table kanina. Negative 0.65 is under moderate, di ba? Moderate, yan o. Nandito siya. Dito sa cluster na to. Okay, balikan natin. So, moderate, kanyang interpretation ay moderate. Since negative siya, therefore, indirect relationship. Okay? So, meaning, pag tumaas yung ating independent variable, bababa yung isa. So, tignan nga natin. So, ang problem natin dito, yan. Ang problem natin dito states that the availability of your family planning. So therefore, kung mas available ang family planning sa isang rural residence, mas bababa yung fertility rate niya. Kasi nga indirect relationship siya. At kabaliktaran na kapag walang available na family planning, okay, any forms of family planning, mas tataas yung fertility rate, which is very much correct naman. Okay? So that's how you'll do your measure of correlation. Yan. Good job for those who were able to understand, for those who were able to follow through the whole discussion. Okay? So yung content ng inyong quiz under Module 5 would be this. MCT, your mean, median, most, arithmetic mean, weighted mean. Measure of variability, your range, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, and the last one would be your measure of correlation, which is this, your Pearson R. Okay? So that ends our lecture this afternoon. And for the rest of the minutes, it will be allotted for your questions if you have in mind. Just feel free to unmute your microphone and then ask your question. Ma'am, saan mahahanap yung Zoom recording? Nasa ano lang siya? Nasa Canvas modules. Maglalagay ako ng portion. Most likely, nasa last part siya lagi. Tingnan nyo dun. Zoom meeting nakalagay. So, I will be uploading this one tonight. Hopefully na mas mabilis siyang ma-render sa ating YouTube channel. You have any questions for today for this meeting? For modules 4 and 5, you are free to ask them now. Going once, going twice. Sure kayo wala kayong questions. So we won't be meeting tomorrow. Instead, it is allotted for your quizzes. Okay, so since wala ng questions, we will now end the Zoom meeting. Maraming salamat sa pag-join. And I will see you again next week for our last module. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day ahead.
Have a great day, ma'am.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
Have a nice day.
Hey, ma'am.
Lang kaalis.
Bye.
Love you, ma'am.
Love you more. Sige.
I love you most.
Binga. Sige, ingat kayo. You may now leave the Zoom meeting because I will end this in 3, 2, 1.